Hi, I'm Kirby Allison. Thrilled as always to be back here in London, where on this occasion one can feel an almost palpable excitement building in anticipation of the upcoming coronation of King Charles III. It's hard to believe that it's been almost 7 decades since Britain's last coronation, that of King Charles's mother, the late Queen Elizabeth II, and this will undoubtedly be a truly momentous and historic event. Of course, my wife Bianca and I are planning to be here in London specifically for the coronation. There's no way we could let this event pass us by and not be here in London where all the action is going to be happening. Of course, as one would expect, the British, there are already several black tie events being planned. This is just how the British do things. There is always an elegance and style to the way that they celebrate, and I can't think of a more momentous occasion than the coronation of King Charles III. So as we're here and already have been invited to several of these events, I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to upgrade a few elements of my black tie kit. I mean, I still have the same dinner suit or tuxedo that I had made bespoke whenever I got married. I have the same opera pumps from college. And so what better occasion to add a few elements to my black tie wardrobe than this coronation. So I thought we'd first pop into Bud's Shirtmakers here in the Piccadilly Arcade, and then walk down St. James's down to John Lobb to see what we could put together to really make this occasion all that more special. So join me as we set out in search of quality craftsmanship and tradition here in London in preparation of the coronation of King Charles III.
Kirby.
So great to be back in London.
You. Good to see you again. Yeah. Looking well?
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Of course, I'm wearing your beautiful bespoke shirt. My Bud stripe.
Yeah.
And this is a suit that was made from a friend of mine, Eric Jensen in New York. He's an Italian company, Sartoria Gallo. Yeah. And again, I just love the play of the blue, the blue stripe, the Bud stripe. Yeah. This suit, which is a really interesting dormé, kind of blue, gray, green.
Yeah. It lends itself wonderfully to it. Yeah, it looks good.
And the collar especially.
Yeah.
I've been kind of, slowly drifting towards slightly kind of bolder collars, and this was kind of a great first step in that direction.
Yeah. It's not too much of an adventure away, but it's just a little bit bolder in depth and stuff. Yeah. But it suits you well. It suits you well.
Yeah, nice present, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
A nice present without being, too Tom Wolfian.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, again, great to be back in London. I have to say, one of the things that I've been struck by is just the excitement with the upcoming coronation of King Charles III. And again, it still just astounds me that it's been almost 70 years since the last coronation.
Yeah.
I mean, it just puts into perspective how momentous and historic of an occasion this is for Great Britain.
Yeah, it is. It's it doesn't come around very, very often. So, I think you're kind of lucky. I think, the world's kind of lucky to see it now.
Yeah. For most of the world, right, this will be the first time they ever see a coronation.
Absolutely.
Right,
Absolutely.
70 years. There's not very many people that were around and probably remember Queen Elizabeth's coronation. And then something like that, like in the 70 years, so had you been 70 years whenever Queen Elizabeth was coronated, you would have seen, I think, 5 coronations.
Yeah.
Which again just puts into perspective how long it has been since this has happened.
Oh, yeah. So it's it's an event, and it's the one thing that we do well over here is pomp and circumstances.
So, that's right.
It should
class
be a good view.
and elegance. It
should be a good view. So
Well, and Bud Shirtmakers, of course, here in the Piccadilly Arcade, has really been a cornerstone of Britain's formal culture, in that since for 100 years you guys have been kitting out people in their white tie and their black tie. And I think more than anyone else left in this country, Bud is really looked to as the foremost authority on the protocol of black and white tie.
I think so, yeah. I think it's a speciality of ours. Yeah. And I think if people have got like a black tie event or a white tie event, regardless of how ranking it is, they'll always go, right, I need to go there because I need to be correct.
Yeah.
So they come here to get the bits and pieces they need, but to get the advice on how to wear it and where they're going. So it's something that we still specialise in. Yeah. Not very many people, as you say, cater for it, but we do. Yeah. And to a very sort of traditional kind of correct standards.
Yeah, and of course, Bud does everything else. I mean, the pajamas, the shirts, the gowns, the robes. But whenever I think of Bud Shirtmakers, one of those true marks of distinctions is just the expertise that you guys have within white black tie.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky. We've all been around it, and we've all had it passed down to us from people like Mr. Rowley, Mr. Butcher. We're keeping the sort of knowledge going. So
I have to ask, I mean, with the coronation around the corner, I mean, just a few months away, I mean, have you been having people kind of, running into the shop or coming in, looking to upgrade their kit or, get pieces that were missing?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the people that are going to be involved with it at the top end of it, it is just a case of kind of stiff collars and ties and studs and stuff like that just need kind of refreshing, really, or a different size maybe required.
Yeah, that's right.
As my old boss used to say,
so many of us.
As my old boss used to say, you're looking a bit more prosperous now.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes. Well, my wife and I are going to be coming over. The World Championship of Shoemaking happens to be that next weekend. Oh, and so we said, we can't miss this. I mean, I wasn't here for the Platinum Jubilee. I was here, I think I left the day before. And just seeing the excitement in Britain in preparation of that was just, really astounding because, as you said, Britain does pomp and circumstance the best of anyone. And so to be here for the coronation, we couldn't miss it. So
I think the Jubilee was good, but I think this is kind of probably trumpet. So I think you do well for that one. Yeah.
Well, and so, I was thinking we might use this as a little bit of an occasion to upgrade certain elements of my black tie kit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, again, the beauty of black tie and white tie is these items aren't worn very often and can last a long time. So I'm actually, my first bespoke suit was my tuxedo for my wedding, which I still wear. It's been let out a little bit after 12, 13 years. I still have the same opera pumps from college.
Wow,
the silk socks and the bow tie and the cummerbund have all probably been, kind of shuffled around a little bit. But I thought that, you did this first shirt for me, right? It's brilliant, it's beautiful. Bud, with its distinction in black tie and white tie, I thought it might be fun to see if there was something special we could do with a dinner shirt.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for black tie, the kind of the classic ones to go for are the white Marcella shirt or a pleated shirt.
Okay.
Now, for me, I think the absolute classic, and something a bit special is the cream spun silk pleated shirt.
Okay.
It's really it's a classic, timeless, Bud piece. That's probably the best way to describe it. So I'm just going to go and
please.
Got one here.
I mean, this is what I love about Bud, is that only at a place like Bud Shirtmakers can you find, the continuity of having been in business and having specialized in this for so long, to be able to reach as far back as to find things like spun silk. I mean, this is not something you'd really find anywhere else.
No.
And this is beautiful. So talk to me about this. I mean, because I've never, I don't have a spun silk shirt. It'll be my first silk shirt, maybe since high school.
It's a classic piece.
Yeah.
And, like anything else, cashmere, leathers, and whatever, there's silk and there's silk.
Yeah.
Now, this is...
Yeah, I mean, this isn't your Regis Philbin, satin silk. I mean, this...
No, so it's a spun silk. It's not got that sort of shine like a satin has, and most people associate it. But if you feel it, it's kind of got that. So what happens is, when we buy it in, it comes in samphorized, washed.
Okay.
But when we get it in, we take off about, take it off in 10-meter lengths, and we hot wash it.
Okay.
So it takes any nasty shrinkage or whatever out of it.
Is it prone to shrinkage?
But ultimately, it makes it kind of machine washable.
Oh, really?
Which is the best thing for this.
Yeah.
You can feel it. It's kind of got that kind of, for want of a better expression, that kind of rubbery kind of texture.
It's got a chalky hand, as they would say, kind of like ancient matter.
Exactly that. But I think as well, you said about your tuxedo, you had that for 12, 13 years. You'll have this for as long, and it'll just get better and better and better the longer you have it.
Yeah.
So cream spun silk, they call it white, but we call it cream because what it is, it's not bleached.
Okay.
So this is the natural colour of the silk.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, and it's that nice ivory colour. So it's not that kind of what we call vanilla cream.
Yeah.
It's a nice kind of hue of kind of that.
Yeah.
And it works so well. And probably not for you, but for me, when you get to a certain age, cream is a lot more forgiving than white
really?
is. It's a lot softer to wear. But
I need that. Yeah. This is true wisdom speaking.
But, you know, that's what I would recommend. A real timeless classic piece.
Yeah.
Go with anything. You'll be correctly attired in any black tie event wearing it. So, and I think we've got a good pattern for you.
Yeah.
I think all we kind of need to do is, you know, so this is our sort of something to show you. This is a classic spun silk shirt.
Okay.
It's a bib front with pleats on the front.
But you have to say, I've gone back to the pleats.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a real beauty and elegance.
Yeah.
As long as it's not, ruffles.
Well, I think that's the thing. Well, that's the kind of the vague kind of history with it. Sort of the dandies, you know, back in the 1800s would kind of wear the ruffles and the thing with the white stockings and stuff. So this is kind of like a watered down version of that. So that's the evolution of it. And, you know, just keep it simple. You know, keep it 1/2-inch pleats on there. You know, if they're too small, well, these are all hand done, by the way. They're not put through a kind of a mass machine. They're all hand pleated.
Hand sewn, wow.
Yeah, so they sit nice. They have a nice bit of drape when they're like this, and you can see the pleats.
Yeah.
If they're too big or too small, you kind of lose them a bit, so you can still see that it's pleated.
Good resolution.
Yeah.
And I guess again, the pleats. I mean, one of the functions of the pleats is it gives the front of the shirt more body and structure. So it's kind of like, I mean, you said what was the Marcella bib, right? Which is, you know, kind of the textured, really heavily starched, but flat cotton, right? That was stiff, so that you would never have a wrinkle. This kind of has the same effect without having that kind of rigidity to it.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's in the silk as well. You get that nice drape with it. So it's beautiful to wear, but you get a nice drape, and it just looks lovely under a dinner suit. So, okay. So just to kind of, I think let's.
I mean, I love silk. It's the strongest fiber. I mean, silk and linen are, you know, really advanced fibers. I mean, once you get to silk and linen, you're enjoying
natural,
true luxury.
It's natural. So I kind of think we'll keep it bib front, 1/2-inch pleats.
Okay.
We'll take a measurement, and we've got a good pattern for you, but we also need to take a measurement for the length of the front.
Okay.
Just to make sure it goes in the waistband of the trousers and isn't creeping out the top.
Yeah, of course.
So classically, it's 3 studs on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and that's different, right? Because, I mean, some shirts, you know, would have 4. Right, I mean, where it's just kind of like evenly spaced down.
Yeah.
But this has the 3, and then I guess right here is a gap where the cummerbund would otherwise.
Yeah. So I'm going to just show you. So what's happened is, originally it would have been like 2 studs,
or even 1. I've seen.
Well, that would be on white tie.
Okay, white tie.
On white tie, but studs were always sold in a set of 3. Yeah. 1 was a spare.
Oh.
And then people thought, well, hold on, there's 3 studs in there.
Yeah.
So they started having 3 studs in the
4
front.
studs. Yeah.
So that is classic.
Yeah.
That is absolute classic for black tie. So they started adding 4 studs, and that's how it's kind of developed into 4 studs down the front. But this is the absolute classic way. So 3 studs here, and what we then do is we put some buttons on a tape. So that is good for travelling.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess if you forget your studs, you can still button
You've
your
got
shirt.
those. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's beautiful mother of pearl buttons.
Yeah.
So this is just
It's just a bit of
on a
kind
tape,
of bit of cotton tape
Yeah.
that goes in there. So keeps it all together when you're travelling.
Yeah.
So you see those for the studs, and then we do a fly front here.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have another button here, but it's
that's
just
hidden.
concealed.
So all you see when you're wearing it is your 3 black studs in there.
That's amazing. And this is sewn on by hand.
That's all stitched on by hand in there.
Oh, gosh. I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, what I love about something like this is, you know, it's classic. To the untrained eye, look just like every other dinner shirt, but to someone that actually knows, you know, the quality, the craftsmanship and tradition of proper black tie would see this and immediately know that this is someone that has the proper kit.
They pick up that it was like an off-white ivory spun silk. So and I mean, there's not much to say because we're going to keep it classic. We're going to keep it timeless.
Yeah.
We'll do double cuffs for you. We'll take a measurement for the front.
Yeah.
The collar you've got, I love.
Yeah.
But I think for this one, because yours is a semi-cutaway collar.
Yeah.
I think if we give you the bud collar,
Okay.
I'll make a few alterations
Yeah.
to it because you can definitely take the deeper collar. I think if we give you the bud collar, which this is,
Yeah.
it looks so much nicer with a bow tie,
Yeah.
and it's not cut away too
Yeah.
much. Not that yours is, but it just will look so
No,
nice.
that's different, a bow tie versus a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's exciting.
And then you'll have the whole kind of bud
Yeah.
experience with the bud
Yeah.
collar on it, which I shall alter a little bit just
Yeah.
for your kind of
Well,
look
for the
as
neck
well.
and everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Any monogramming or anything else that one would traditionally find on a dinner shirt? Or
Not really. I think sometimes
you kind of want to keep it plain.
Yeah, our cousins across the pond tend to sort of
Yeah.
put it beside there and stuff
Well,
like that. But
Never on the cuff.
no. But I would say, less is more certainly
Yeah.
on this one. So
Okay. And and on bespoke you'd have your initials sewn
exactly.
into the actual kind of band
Absolutely.
right here. And it's an unfused collar, right? So it still has
Yeah.
that softness.
yeah, we floating canvas, cotton
Yeah.
canvas in there, as per we make for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is what I came to Bud for. I knew that of all the places, in London and the world, this is exactly where I'd go to find something like this.
Yeah. And as I say, it's we just keep it simple.
Yeah.
There's no kind of anything
Well,
elaborate
simple,
to do with it.
But you say simple, but in some ways I feel like it just understates this and its elegance. In its simplicity is its elegance. The quality, the craftsmanship, the tradition, that's what makes this really stand out. And to be able to, whenever you dress up on a black tie for a black tie occasion, it's always something special. So to be able to put on, your dinner suit, your shirt, your shoes, your opera pumps, and to have them be also things that are very special, I think only helps elevate that experience.
Yeah, you do. You feel better when you go out in it for sure. So
You feel special.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, great. Well, what's the measurement? So we need one
It
measurement.
literally is one measurement, and we can do that now.
This is beautiful.
So if you just take a step back, Kirby, I think what we'll do. So what we're looking for here is the length of the front. Yeah. So it goes in your waistband. So I presume that your dress trousers are about the height. It's maybe a little bit higher, maybe.
This is probably a little bit higher waisted than my
Than you-
standard trousers because they weren't cut for braces.
Right.
Right.
But your tuxedo, black tie. Is,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this would be a good.
Well, no, I'm saying that my tuxedos was not cut for braces.
Oh, right. So they might be a little bit
Lower.
I think if we work on this work that they're lower than this,
Yes.
then we'll get a good because we don't want it. What you don't want is that big
Too short.
to stick out the top of the trouser band. So
And is too long a problem? I guess.
no, only on its white tie. So it's there. So if we work on the assumption that it's there, that should be fine.
Yeah. And how many pleats are there?
Well, I'm going to take another measurement while I got you here. We do the width of it as well. There. If we go 4 1/4. So it all depends. So we take a measurement for that there. And we'll see how wide it is when we kind of make the pattern. So, ordinarily it's about 6 or 7 along the front. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
7 to 14. And again, it would be interesting to know just how much fabric is shrunk down into those pleats because that's what's incredible about pleats is that they really can consume some fabric.
Yeah. Well, they are. They're hand done as well, and it's not. You can see yourself. It is. Properly hand pleated. It's folded over.
Yeah.
So
That's exquisite. We had the opportunity to visit the workshop in Andover.
yeah.
Right, and the work that comes out of there is
I think as we said in that last one, we're very, very, very lucky to have the ladies there and doing that still the way they do it.
Yeah.
So. And again, the knowledge comes from them. There's no. Workshops can do kind of dress wear, but not to the kind of standard and the knowledge that we.
Well, this is so specific, right? That you wouldn't see something like this made really anywhere.
No.
And so even if it was made, once, every few years, like you would lose that expertise. And Bud specializing in these types of garments, has been able to retain, that expertise and that skill, that craft.
Yeah, for sure. So
yeah. Well, Darren, this is really exciting. I mean, anything else you'd recommend?
No, I think you've got it covered there. I mean, I'm sure you're well equipped for.
I've got a bow tie actually from Bud.
From Bud, studs and cufflinks.
Studs. I've got a special set of studs.
But we're well stocked for that. So should
any emergency arise, I know where to run to.
You know where to come for sure. So
you can always count on finding a pair of black silk socks here.
Absolutely.
At Bud.
Absolutely.
Bow ties in every silk variety.
Yeah. So we can get you something that's kind of going to go with your suit and your facing. So absolutely no problem.
Excellent. Well, Darren, this is exciting.
Absolute pleasure.
Always great to see you.
Thank you so much again. So.
I think I'm going to pop down to Lobb next. Maybe work on some opera pumps.
Yeah.
This is pretty exciting. So.
Anyway, you'll be properly the best man attired for sure.
I'm using every excuse here to to take care of these long overdue upgrades. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Well, there we have it. I think we're on the right track here in London. Spun silk shirt from Bud. I mean, what better way to really add that touch of elegance to the dinner suit? And now I have to say, down to Lobb. I think it's time to look into a new pair of opera pumps. And again, with black tie, it's such a special occasion. Why not go straight to the top with a firm like John Lobb? So join me as we pop down St. James's Street into the original John Lobb. Well, it's always nice to be back here at John Lobb, and as you know, the Coronation's around the corner, and this is a really momentous occasion. It's easy to forget that it's been 70 years since
it's remarkable,
the most recent coronation of the late Queen Elizabeth II, and so I have to say I missed the Jubilee, the Platinum Jubilee, but I'm going to absolutely be here for the coronation of King Charles III.
Good.
And so I was thinking this is an opportunity that I'm going to use as an excuse to upgrade certain components of my kit, my black tie kit, my dinner suit. And I was thinking, the virtue of a dinner suit is it's something that you wear, infrequently, only on really special occasions. And so it's my opinion that this is an opportunity to kind of really make it special. And so I was thinking, maybe we'd upgrade my opera pumps to something proper from John Lobb.
Well, you were thinking about the classic sort of opera-style pump.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a pump with a bow.
Yeah.
So this has a pinched bow.
Yeah, which doesn't intimidate me.
Quite does have a flat bow.
Yeah.
But it's it's a casual shoe. It's made on a slightly different type of last.
Yeah. You'd call that casual?
It's very casual.
Technically a casual because I suppose.
Well, it is obviously casual. Anything that's not formal is casual.
Yeah.
But this is specifically made for dress wear.
Yeah.
They're made for traditionally it's made for a morning type, more of a evening pump.
Yeah.
As opposed to the classic Oxford.
Yeah.
And it's quite often patent leather. It has what we call a different type of construction.
Okay.
Because it has a pump sole rather than it's unwelted.
Yes, it's unwelted.
So the sole is very thin and it's pumped straight on.
So it's not glued. It's still hand sewn.
Still hand stitched
to the insole.
Stitching is stitched directly onto the inner sole.
Okay.
Which makes it all very lightweight and flexible.
Okay.
And just made for sort of convivial evening.
Yeah.
Evenings at the opera.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Or a proper black tie dinner, and this is beautiful. I mean, again, just the idea of being able to acquire something from Lobb for an opera pump. It'll be probably the last opera pump I buy the rest of my life. I mean, the one I wear now, I purchased back in college, and some 20 years later, I still get great use out of it. But I think it's time to graduate and really come home to the original John Lobb for a proper opera pump. And I mean, John Lobb's the oldest shoemaker there is, right? And I mean, you guys have been making this for probably your entire history of over 100 years.
Well, pumps are common. They're common.
So to be able to have an opera pump from John Lobb here on St. James's, made by hand, would be
Not just
makes
the
it
pumps
all that more
themselves,
special.
It's the tradition behind it.
Yeah. So this is, this is kind of what I'm thinking, but you've got an incredible amount of models here. Anything else?
The classic pump is very straightforward. It's got it, but this, as I said, I'll just grab it. Just get it on the flat bow. We have that stands out a little bit. It's a little bit fancier, but this one has a flat bow. It's got has all the sort of binding around the top here, grain, sort of grey grain binding.
Yeah, and this has a grain binding as well, but it's
right.
a little bit more prominent.
But traditionally, it'll have that binding.
Yeah.
Depends on the thickness of the material you're using. Classically, it's obviously that's a patent. You might use what we call a glacé kid, which has a nice sort of glacé shine to it and is very soft and flexible.
So talk to me a little bit about that.
Or you can occasionally have them made out of calfskin, just lightweight calfskin.
Yeah. So this is patent, but there's no telling how old this sample is. And the patent today is, this looks like a beautiful calfskin that has a high shine, but
well, traditionally, the old-fashioned patent was actually calfskin that was really boned and worked, and it was very different.
But you can't find that anymore. And the problem I have with patent leather these days is that it looks quite plastic.
There is some still. It has a nice shine. It has a nice shine, but it hasn't. It's more
unmistakably synthetic.
It's a bit like a veneer on the surface.
Yeah.
Rather than the old classic.
So my thinking is I'd like something that I could shine. Either a calfskin, but kid skin sounds interesting too.
Well, we like the glacé was a nice option because it had a nice shine to it, which obviously is one of the features of glacé, of patent leather. And you don't need to do all the polishing, and it cares for itself. But it's also very soft, and it's a kid rather than a calfskin.
Yeah. And so kid skin, of course, being goat versus calf. And so it's thinner, slightly more flexible, and it has natural shine.
Yeah.
Can it still be high shine, like on the toes? Could I?
Well, you could give it. You wouldn't need to. You could still build up a little bit of polish. I suppose because you have the fabric and you have the you tend not to sort of polish it in the same way as a shoe.
Yeah.
But you can still build up.
Build up just right here at the toe. Yeah.
The alternative, obviously, is to use a soft and lightweight sort of calfskin, which again.
And this wouldn't be too thick and stiff?
No, because there's a lightweight. This is a soft, very lightweight, sort of called ladies' weight calfskin.
Yeah.
As opposed to the thicker, sort of more sturdy shoe leather.
Yeah. Well, I kind of defer to you. The kid skin sounds interesting. In so much as it's a really kind of quintessentially bespoke option that you wouldn't find ready to wear, and you probably wouldn't find at most bespoke makers.
Well, kid's a well-used kid, but it's not so commonly used for shoes because it doesn't have that same durability.
Yeah.
But very lightweight, ladies' weight shoes aren't worn so regularly. It's a very good option.
Yeah. Okay.
And with a flat bow, or depending on, that might keep a little bit more extrovert.
Yeah.
Than the flat to pinched bow, which is the same color.
If you're going to put a bow on your shoe, I like the idea of making it pinched and just going for it. Yeah. Now, is this just faded over time, or is this an actual kind of like gray?
I think it's actual grey.
Actual grey.
I think it's been chosen just to have that light little bit of contrast, a little bit of something.
Yeah, but I like the idea of that.
Yeah, which is nice.
Can this still be done?
Yes.
Like in a grey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I would say let's kind of start putting this together, and then outsoles. Any other kind of traditional choices or options?
Well, it has a low heel, usually with a just plain leather.
Yeah. So
it's designed for wooden sort of
lift.
There's no walk. It's not designed for wear and tear.
Yeah.
And then it's just a plain, thin leather sole.
Yeah.
There's no embellishments.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nothing extra needed for sort of harder wear or going in the streets.
The embellishment is the mere fact it's an opera pump made by Lobb. That's what makes it, the most special shoe in the room.
It's quite unique.
Yeah. Not to be jumping down the rabbit hole, but I think that this is what an upgrade to the kit.
It'll be a new project for the
for the
Kirby
for the new reign of King Charles III. There you go.
Exactly. Well, it's ways to celebrate. We're all celebrating in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Kirby, we're going to take. I think for the purposes of the pump, a slightly different fitting from the shoe.
Yeah.
So it helps just to take a little quick measurement and check a few additional measurements.
Yeah.
Make some notes of the style and what we're going to make.
It's less shoe, right? So
you can leave it in our hands.
To fit differently.
Okay.
Well, I'm in great hands here.
If you want to take a seat.
Yeah, please. Well.
So, Kirby, we'll take some quick measure. I've got your measurements from when you had the shoes, but we'll make just a little few measurements that will help with the making of the pump for the lasts, making for the last for the pumps.
And I mean, will you start it all from the last that we did for the Cap to Oxfords, or is it kind of really starting from scratch?
It's a different last. It's a tighter fitting. Something I'll almost start from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully they haven't changed too much since the last. There haven't been any marathons, so we should be okay. Now, what's the story with the pad? This was your father's?
This was my father's, this one.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I've just continued using it.
It's amazing.
I don't know where he got it from. Okay. Again, just put your right foot on my knee.
And then again here, really being careful to arc the joints, right?
Yep, joint is everything. It's a sort of the fulcrum of the whole shoe, of your whole walk. So if you get, make sure that's in the right place, because everything pivots on that. It's a remarkable piece of anatomy, the foot.
It's a lot going on there, right? It's pretty complex. Again, what makes an opera pump last so different than an Oxford? I mean,
well, there isn't anything to hold you in place, so there's no laces. So it's naturally your feet are going to, unless it's a little bit tighter, a little bit snugger, your foot's just going to slip out.
Yeah.
So if you made the opera that pump on your shoe last, you would just come right out the back. So technically, you've got to make the back a little bit shorter, and make it a little bit tighter. Okay. A little bit snugger, and you're using a soft material, so you can give a little bit. You can make it all a little bit, so it's a bit tighter.
Snug. Kind of knowing it'll stretch and settle in a little bit.
And you wouldn't ever really expect the pump to hold onto your feet in the same way as a shoe. Yeah. So there is an element of slipping. There's a sort of slipper element to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
okay, excellent.
So as I said, we'll go with black glacé kid, and then with a pinched bow. And a slight contrast in the colour, which just gives a little bit of character.
Yeah, subtle.
Yeah.
Key is subtle.
And with a pump sole. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all the details. It's quite. It's essentially quite a simple construction.
Okay. And how would you line it? I mean, these have a red lining.
Well, that's a good question. You could have a different lining. These have a red lining, but classically it would be usually a black lining with a black sock.
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite a nice detail. You see this, again, it's black on black, but again, it's a detail.
I'd probably just go with the black. Unless you have a midnight.
Unless you want to match the bow in some way.
Ah, okay. That's a good
So
idea.
we could try and
Yeah.
find something that sort of
Something like
matches the
like
bow.
a dark gray or something.
So then we don't have exactly necessarily this colour,
Yeah,
but we can
of
use
course.
something which matches what we do use.
I like that
How's that?
idea. Yeah, I like
Okay.
that idea.
Okay,
Great. All right.
done.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you very much.
This is exciting. Thank you.
Beginning of another
Yeah.
journey.
I know. This is this is special. Wow. Well, I mean, what a surreal moment, I must say. You'll have to allow me to just kind of take this in. To be here at John Lobb, the most prestigious and important shoemaker really in the world, on St. James's Street in London, and to be commissioning a pair of opera pumps from John Lobb for the coronation of King Charles III, I have to say, is a moment I need to take in here. I mean, there is no question a prestige and a renown to John Lobb. And that is really why I wanted these opera pumps made here. I mean, whenever you put on your black tie, it is marking a special occasion. And to be able to do that with a pair of opera pumps from John Lobb in the dinner suit that I had made for my wedding, with a bud shirt, dinner shirt made here in London, bespoke, I have to say will make that occasion all the more special. Of course, if you're watching this channel for the first time, the best way to support the content that we film is by visiting kirbyallison.com. There you'll find the largest collection of luxury garment care and luxury shoe care accessories in the world, as well as other great clothing accessories for the well-dressed, like this beautiful sovereign grade necktie, pocket squares, braces, socks, bow ties, and so much more. Of course, I'm Kirby Allison, and I love to help the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes while exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Thanks for watching Today in London.